Hello everyone. I hope I am audible to all of you. If I am audible, just show a thumbs up. Okay, let me just check in if I am audible. Yeah, okay, great. Uh, so, hello everyone. I am Satakshi Garg. I am the founder of Peer Programming Hub, which is the community that conducts the CP Camp. So here we are today to announce the CP Winter Camp. So if you don't know what CP Camp is, it is a community. It is a community that conducts a gamified coding camp. So what this gamified coding camp is all about. So most of us have used Snapchat in our lives, right? And what happens is that we send different things just in order to maintain a streak. So that is exactly the concept behind CP Camp. Here, instead of sending images, videos, or something like that, we'll be maintaining a streak with our coding performances. So in order to advance each day, we have to perform a daily task. And if we are successful in performing those tasks, our streak is maintained. And in case we fail, our streak breaks. So that is the main concept behind CP Camp. There are 4 levels of the CP Camp. First is the surgeons, second is the knights, third is the captains, fourth is the commanders, and the final survivors become the warlords. So that is how our CP Camp goes like. So here today we'll be discussing the rules for the upcoming CP Winter Camp. We have so far conducted 2 camps, which was one in the spring and the other one was in summer. And now we are coming up with the CP Winter Camp. So let's start with the rules. So first of all, before I start with the main presentation, I would like to tell you about what's the fee for the CP camp, right? So the program is absolutely free of cost. I am a student myself, and I understand it like it's not really easy for students to bear up the cost for the coding program. So as far as I can take this camp, I'll try to conduct it free of cost. So the community has been built completely free of cost. There's no funding, no investment till date, and the program is completely free of cost till date, and it will be free of cost as far as we are able to take it, right? So now let's talk about what are the requirements to participate in the CP camp. First and foremost, you need to have a Code Forces account. So what Code Forces is basically? So we all know what competitive programming is, and if you don't know about it, it's like kind of a sports but with programming. So you have to compete with others and you have to maintain a definite rating and participate in contests. Code for competitive programming is mainly about participating in contests. Like for example, suppose you are just running in a marathon on a daily basis in the morning, and you say that you are into sports. You cannot be into sports unless you actually run a marathon with others, right? So that is exactly what competitive programming is. Unless and until you participate in contests, you are actually not a competitive programmer. So problem solving is one thing, but participating in live contests along with problem solving is what competitive programming is. So code forces as well as art coder, these are the 2 profiles we'll be using for this upcoming CP winter camp. And here I want to mention one thing, like I saw a few of the registrations and the students haven't actually mentioned the code forces or the art coder account. So as I have clearly mentioned the form previously as well, that the students who haven't inserted these IDs would be disqualified. And it's not in my hand. Actually, the system won't track their profile. So they'll be disqualified on the spot. So it's my advice that please go and create your code forces and add coder account and then only register. In case you've already registered without an account and giving like not applicable or something like that, please go and edit the form. I have opened the editing as well, so please go and edit the form. It is open till midnight tonight, so please just go and edit it. Otherwise, you'll be disqualified. There's no use of registering, right? And second point was that few students have mentioned their email IDs instead of the user IDs for Code Forces and AdCoder account. So please go and enter the user IDs and not the email IDs. I'll show you in a while what user IDs are exactly. So you'll be quite like will be clear what I am talking about. So please enter those user IDs and not the email IDs. Email IDs won't be used for tracking, right? So these are the basic requirements. First is the code forces account, second is the ad coder account, and third, you must have that love towards CP. So this community isn't meant for people who are actually aiming to ace their coding interviews. I have no intentions for it, and there are people, and even I am preparing for various coding interviews. But for me, I am here just because I love CP and I want to dedicate time towards it. So if you're someone who loves CP genuinely or wants to explore it, like you have never participated in and want to try if it works for you, then it's a good way to start, because you'll have to dedicate 40 days and you'll get to know that whether CP is something which is meant for you or not. So that is what CP is, right? So now let's talk about the rules of the game. So first and foremost, we have divided the participants into two categories. First category is the coders who have the ratings less than 1300. So we have received registrations with people who have ratings above 1300 and who have ratings less than 1300. So beginners will be the people who have code forces ratings less than 1300, and experienced people will be the one who have code forces rating greater than or equal to 1300. Fair enough. So that is how the students have been partitioned into two categories. Then now, how these ratings are evaluated? Let me just throw some light on how basically the system would be tracking your ratings, right? So suppose you're actually, the slide is enough to explain it, but still, like let me just say explain it a bit. Like suppose your ratings are 876, right? So your ratings would be considered as 800 and not 876 by the system, right? Then suppose your ratings are 899, again it will be considered as 800. But if your ratings are 900, 901, then it falls into the category of 900s, right? So I guess this part is clear, right? This is like something basic which the system is using, and plus you don't have to worry about it. Honestly, like on the community channel, I hope all of you have joined the community channel. Like I'll be posting a document before every level wherein I'll mention what your current ratings are on code forces and what level of problems you are supposed to solve. So the ratings which will be considered for the coming CP camp would be the ratings which will be at the beginning of the CP camp. It won't be updated during the duration, right? So have this clear in your head. Don't think that suppose your current ratings are 1100 and during the camp you participate in a contest and it falls to 900. So don't think that now that would be considered as a rating. 1100 would be considered the initial rating, which I'll actually share on the group, right? That this is your current rating and this is the level of problems you have to solve. So that will be shared on the group, so you don't need to worry about it much, right? But this is like I had to tell you, so I am telling you, right? So now let's talk about what will be the rules of CP camp for beginners, right? So first of all, let's talk about surgeons. So initially, all of you would be surgeons, and for beginners, what you would need is that suppose your rating is, let's consider it as 1000, right? So you will need to solve problems with problem rating plus 100. Like now your ratings are 1000, you will be required to solve problems with problem rating 1100, right? So that is how problem ratings are done, and just in a while I'll show you what problem ratings are actually on code forces. Like there are many beginners who haven't ever used code forces, so I'll tell you like what code forces is and how problem ratings are distributed. So that is how it goes, right? And you have to solve four problems each day. Like the level will last for 10 days and you have to solve four problems each day with a problem rating greater than your rating plus 100. So this is how the surgeon's level goes. Suppose now you clear this level, you have crossed 10 days, you have maintained a successful streak, now you become a knight. Now what happens is the number of problem remains same, the number of days remains same, but the problem rating increases. Now it becomes plus 200. So now initially you were solving problems of rating 1100, now you will be solving problems of rating 1200, right? So that is how knight's level goes. Now the third level, that is the captains. Now suppose you have become a captain, so now you will be solving three problems a day. Now the problems won't be four, it would be three problems a day, and the difficulty rating becomes plus 300. So like initially it was 1100, then 1200, now it is 1300. And for commanders it's 1400, like it's plus 100 plus 100. And as I said even earlier, that you don't need to remember this. Like before each level, I'll be mentioning that these are the number of problems you have to solve for these many days you have to solve, and this is the problem rating you have to solve for each and every user. So it won't be like that every person is solving this problems of same rating. Every person would be solving problems as per their own ratings on code forces, right? So it is kind of a customized camp for everyone. So that is how it goes. And I'll be answering all your doubts like just after this presentation, right? So keep putting your doubts in the comment section. I'll answer all the doubts just after this presentation, right? So this is how the beginners level goes. Now let's talk about, okay, so here I have given one example. Like suppose a user has a rating of 876. So as I said, the other system will track it as 800, right? So for sergeant level, the person has to solve four problems of difficulty rating 900. Then for knights, the person has to solve four problems of difficulty rating 1000. Then 1100 difficulty rating problem, but this time it will be three problems a day, right? And for commanders as well, it would be three problems a day with the difficulty rating 1200, right? So that is how beginners level goes like. Now let's talk about the rules for the experienced people. There's just one difference between the rules for the experienced people as well as the rules for beginners people. That is like there we were starting with plus 100, right? That suppose the rating is 1000 and we started with like 1100, 1200, 1300 and 1400. But here we'll be starting with what the person's current ratings are. So suppose your ratings are we'll be starting with 1300, right? So suppose your ratings are 1300, so you'll be solving 1300 for the first 10 days, then 1400 for the next 10 days, then 1500 for the next 10, and then 1600 for the next 10 days. So that is how experience level coding would go like. And this has been designed after like taking advices from senior coders, and like after putting in a lot of time, that it becomes extremely difficult for people to solve problems difficulty ratings like higher than 1500. So I have designed it this way that no one feels that it's extremely unfair with them, right? So that is how the rules go for the experienced people. And this like this entire presentation is there on our website. You may check it over there. Beside, like as I said, like I am repeating it again and again, that you don't need to memorize it. And I'm not trying to like tell you that memorize it. I'm just here to explain you that this is going to go this way, right? So that in future you don't have any doubts. Otherwise you don't need to remember it. I'll be posting each and everything like every day. Like even if there's a live contest, I'll be posting it that see live contest is going on. I'll be telling you that okay, this is the problem, and see this is the day and you should be solving problems of this level. And if you have any doubts, just post it on the community. I'll be solving all your doubts, so don't worry about it. We are always there. So yeah, just enjoy the camp, right? So this is one example I have put in for the experienced people, that suppose your ratings are 1386, it will be considered as 1300. So it goes like 1300, 1400, 1500, 1600 as I explained, right? So now let's talk about the perks for participating in a live contest, right? So suppose you participated in a live contest which has been conducted on Code Forces or AdCoder. Like for problem solving, only Code Forces has been considered, whereas for live contests, AdCoder as well as Code Forces both are considered, right? So these two are the sites we'll be considering for live contests. So just remember this. I would say remember this thing, that you have to solve problems on Code Forces. And for contest, you can use AdCoder as well, because AdCoder has like a really amazing beginner contest, right? And most of the contestants who will be participating would be beginner level, right? So I don't want them to miss that opportunity of participating in AdCoder beginners contest. So that is why we have included that. So if you participate in AdCoder contests or Code Forces contest, that too live. So what happens is that you will just have to solve one problem that day of the difficulty rating of that particular level. So like suppose here I have given an example as well, that you are a knight and your current Code Forces ratings are 600, right? So if you attempt a live contest on any day on Code Forces or AdCoder, the person has to just solve one problem with difficulty rating greater than or equal to 800. And now there's one thing, which is that if you solve a contest, you get a bonus score of 5000. So what this score is, I'll be explaining in a while. Like it is in the coming slides. So, but it's like if you participate in a contest, you get some additional score as well. So that is how it goes. Plus, what does a participation in live contest mean, right? So it is like you go and you make a submission, be it correct or wrong, doesn't matter, but you have to make a submission that is considered as a participation. Now, I want to make it clear, like there would be many students who would be thinking that, okay, we just have to make one submission. I'll make one submission, and doesn't matter. I won't have to solve problems that day. So please don't take it that lightly. It's your real ratings. Like CP camp is for today, and it will end within 40 days. No one would remember that you participated in CP camp. But your code forces or ad coder ratings, they'll remain for the rest of your life. So take them seriously and don't mess with them. Participate in the contest seriously. If you're participating, please put in like 100% into it, right? So that is my advice to you. If you want to follow, go ahead. If you don't want to follow, your choice, right? So now let's talk about the scoring system I was telling about. So as we mentioned that you have to solve problems of a specific problem rating, right? So the problem ratings of the ratings of the problem you will be solving on code forces would be added to your score. So okay, like I'll show you what problem rating is exactly in a while, and you'll understand it better, right? So on code forces, problem rating starts from 800. So here also I want to mention that there are many beginners whose ratings are like zero, who haven't ever participated in a contest or are less than 800. So by default, we're considering their ratings as 800, right? So you will be starting with the problem solving or difficulty rating like 800, 900, 1000, and 1100. So for beginners, it's like that, like extreme beginners, like whose ratings are less than 800, they'll be considered by default as 800. So that is how it goes. In case you have any doubts, feel free to ask in the comment section. I'll answer them, right? And then, yeah, we were talking about the scoring system. So the rating of the problem you'll be solving will be added to your main score. You will have a score initially which is 0, and like you keep on solving problems, and your the difficulty of the problem you're solving would be added to your like score, final score. So that is how the score goes. Now, suppose someday it happens that you break your streak, right? You are not able to maintain your streak for some reason, right? So what happens is that 2000 points would be deducted right away from the final score, and this penalty cannot be earned back. Like what happens is that we give one lifeline to all the participants throughout the CP camp, that suppose you break streak, so you can get that streak back but once, right? So I'll be telling the procedure after this slide how to get that streak back. You can get the streak back, but you cannot get the score back, right? So if 2000 points are deducted, they are deducted like for uh, uh, till the end. So that happens. Then the third thing, so this is one thing I have added, for having a good interaction on the community channel, so that everyone actually discusses things, right? So what will happen is that you'll have groups wherein you'll be assigned a mentor. So after every level, I'll be asking the mentors about one person who performed extremely well, right, under them. So the person whoever name the mentor takes, right, and whoever the mentor thinks that was performing a really well throughout the level would get a bonus of 10,000 points at the end of each level, plus the person who is like really active and is discussing live, not live contest, I mean to say that after the contest we have a discussion, right, that how you solve this problem or that problem, or there are different problems people ask, and if you're solving their doubts. So if you have that kind of interaction on the community channel, I'll be giving a bonus score from my own side as well, which would be 10,000 again. So there would be like around, I would say, 15 to 16 people after each level who would get a bonus score, right? So one student from the side of the mentor, from each mentor, and one from mine. So that is how it would go like. So now let me tell about the procedure how to regain your lost streak. So suppose you lose your streak for some reason, right? So what you have to do is that the number of problems which you were supposed to solve on that day, you will be solving plus one problems for the next 3 days. So what happens is, this is a little complicated if I have to talk about, like, you have to solve problems of difficulty rating which should have been there if you would not have lost the streak. So if I have to make it a bit more clear, I have given an example over here that suppose you are a captain with the rating 1200, right? So let's consider it 1200 by default, and the person fails on second day. So the person would solve like problems of difficulty rating 1500. By 1500, because it's a captain and the captain has to solve problems with difficulty rating plus 200 plus 300, right? So that is how it happens. The person will be solving problems of difficulty rating 1500 for third, fourth, and on fifth day. On fifth day, the person gets a streak of 5 of captain's level. So that is how it happens. But now suppose the person is a captain and the person failed on 8th day. So what happens is, the person will be solving the problem of difficulty rating greater than or equal to 1500 on 9th and 10th day. But on 11th day, technically the person should have been a commander, right? So if you want to streak back for a commander level, you should be solving a problem of difficulty rating that is pertaining for a commander, right? So you'll be solving problems of difficulty rating that is there for commander, right? So usually you had to solve 3 problems for the commander level, but now you will be solving 4 problems for the commander level. So I hope it is clear. And in case it is not, like even during the CP camp, if you have any doubts with this process, you may ask me, like on the community that I failed and for how many days I am supposed to solve the problem, for what difficulty rating I'm supposed to solve. So I'll clear your doubts even then. So don't worry about it. I know it's a bit complicated over here for the next part. So don't worry about it. So that is how it goes. Plus, one thing I want to mention, that suppose you break your streak, right? So it isn't that if you are a captain and you break your streak, you become a sergeant with 0 streak. No, what happens is, if you break a streak on second day of captain's level, you remain a captain with 0 streak. So you like after like if some people would have played Mario or something in their childhood, you would have remembered that there used to be certain stage in the game. If you reach over there, and if you fail after that, you start from from that stage, right? So that is how it happens. Like suppose you become a knight and you fail, now you will be fighting like a knight for the rest of the journey. If you become a captain, you'll be fighting like a captain even if you fail. And if like commander, then you'll fight like a commander. So that is how it goes. So I hope it is clear, right? So now let me talk about group mentors. And this is the surprise announcement I had to make today. So we have actually mentors who will be mentoring you, and there would be a group of like 5 to 10 students, and they'll be assigned a mentor. So we have mentors from like we have like fortune. We are really fortunate enough that we have got really good mentors this time, and there are people who are working at Google and companies like ShareChat, Coordination, and stuff. So they'll be mentoring you. And so yeah, I have just one advice for you people, that uh, take the most out of them, but do not spam them, right? Because even they are not getting anything out of this mentoring, right? As I said, the program is entirely free of cost, so they are just investing their own time into this program because they found this initiative quite nice. So they are investing their time just for you people. So don't spam them about referrals or anything. Just go and ask your doubts, ask for resources or anything you want, but don't spam them for like reasons like getting placements or something, please, right? So don't do that. You may use LinkedIn for it, but don't use CPCamp for it, right? So that would be my advice to you for that. So that is how group mentoring goes. Like now final, it's like how the reports would be evaluated. So I have myself designed a system which is an automated system, and it will be tracking your entire progress reports. So for people who were requesting me that please have some leverage for us because we have our end sem examinations, so please reduce the number of problems solved. So it's not in my hand, it's the system will be calculating your reports, and there's no partiality from the side of the system. So it won't be partial for anyone. Exams are there, and honestly, like many students were telling me, even I have my exams, right? It's not that only you have the exams, even I have my exams in January, right? So I always say that exams are there for the rest of your life. They were never easy and they won't be easier, right? So you cannot stop doing something just because your exams are coming. Exams are there and would be there for the rest of your life. If you want to do something, just put in your complete efforts, and nothing can stop you from achieving what you want to. And yeah, that's my advice to you. So now I hope you all enjoy the upcoming CP camp. So let me just show you what are the problem ratings I was talking about, right? So first of all, let me show you what is a user ID. As I said, that there are few students who have actually entered their email IDs instead of the user IDs. So see, like here, if you see this thing, Satakshi Garg, right? So this is the user ID and not the email ID I have used, right? Or even like if you don't understand what this is, you can see here like after profile, whatever comes, right? This is your user ID, right? So this is what you're supposed to enter in the form and not the email ID. Same goes for ad coder. So here, when you open ad coder and you have logged in, you will see here like it goes to like my profile. So when you enter my profile, either you can see like here like Satakshi Garg, or you can see like here after users, whatever comes, that is your user ID. So you have to enter this and not your email ID. I hope this is clear to all of you. Then let's talk about what problem ratings are, right? So this is how Codeforce's like homepage looks like. And here, if you see like here, this says like problem set, right? So when I click over here, so what happens is you will see here are two columns, right? So one is under this red mark and the other one is under the green mark. So the green mark says how many submissions have been made to this problem. Whereas this red mark, it says the difficulty rating of the problem. So if I click over these two arrows once, so you will see that here it sorts the values, and here now you will see that the problem rating is 3500. So this problem, which is Cactus Lady and her Cling, it has a problem rating of 3500, which is like the maximum problem rating on Code Forces, and it's the most difficult problem on Code Forces. That is how it happens, right? Now it will keep reducing by 100 for each level. See, like it is 3500 now. Now it has reduced to 3400, right? So this is how it goes. Now similarly, if I click on it again, right, I hope you are able to see it. Like I have clicked this sort option again. Now it sorts it in the ascending order. So now what happens is that you will see the problems with like initially the rating starts with 800. So here are all the problems with difficulty rating 800. There are many problems with difficulty rating 800 on Code Forces. You may solve as many problems as you want to. Then like after like 3-4 pages, you will find 900, then 1000, then 1100. So that is how it goes. So this is what is problem rating is all about. And in case you want like you may either use like Code Forces this way, or I'll suggest that instead of sorting it this way, sort it with the number of submissions, because that is what gives a better idea of the difficulty rating of the problem, because that is what defines how many users have solved it. So use this feature and solve problems as per the level mentioned by me on the like community, right? So that is how it goes. Plus one more thing I wanted to show was like you all would have seen our website till now. You all would have used it for registration. So all credit goes to one of our community members who's like Ashutosh Yadav, and he has built the entire website, and he contributed from his own side because he wanted to give back to our community. So the entire website has been built by him. So like I'm really thankful to him for like giving such an amazing website. So I want to show one thing I have added yesterday itself. So yeah, this is what I have added. So here are all the companies to which our mentors are associated with. So it's Google, ICPC, ShareChat, Trilogy is Coordination. Like Coordination is now known as Trilogy, then Geeks for Geeks, Hacker, Earth. So there are all the companies which are associated. So that's what it is. And yeah, so I hope it's clear to all of you. So now let me take all your doubts, right? So let's start with all the doubts. Please provide the community channel link. I'll post it on LinkedIn. It's there already, and in case it isn't there, I'll post it again, right? So I'll post it there. It's a Telegram community, and even if you'll search on like Telegram peer programming hub, you'll get that. It's a public community. You may join that, right? So now the next doubt is, I'm really new to CP. Then do I have any chances to get selected? Yeah, like of course you have whole chances. As I said, like there, it's not that I'm going to be partial or anything. I have designed specific rules for beginners, so that itself means that beginners are given equal priority as the experienced people. If I would have to just prioritize experienced people, I would not have framed different rules for the beginners, right? So every category of users would be there. And as I said, if you have ratings less than 800, your default rating would be considered as 800. So you will be participating. Don't worry about it. The only thing that is there is that you need to clear the selection procedure. So let me talk about what the selection procedure would be. It is exactly what I described the CP camp to be. So the rules would remain exactly the same. It will start on 8th, right? Like after 2 or 3 days, right? So it will start on 8th and it will last for 5 days. So 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. These will be the days for your selection process, and you have to maintain a streak of 5. Here, the difficulty rating of the problems you will be solving would be like for beginners, it would be what their actual ratings are. Like, suppose your ratings are currently 1000, so you will be solving 4 problems a day of difficulty rating 1000. And for experienced people, it would be minus 100. So, suppose your current ratings are 1300, so you will be required to solve 4 problems a day of difficulty rating 1200. So, as I said, I'll post it on the community with a proper document, like how many problems you have to solve, what difficulty rating you have to solve, and for how many days you have to solve. So that is, I'll post it by 7th, I guess. So as soon as I'm able to like verify all the profiles, I'll post it on the Telegram channel that these are the shortlisted students for the selection procedure, and these are the problems you will be solving. And after, like, suppose there are many students who have been successful in maintaining a streak of 5, so I'll be considering your responses of the form as well as your performance in that selection procedure and the combined results. And by those combined results, I'll be selecting the 100 people who actually need CP camp. So students for CP camp won't be selected on the basis of their ratings. I don't actually, like, if I have to talk from my personal point of view, what's the use of people entering into CP camp who are already good into CP, right? They don't need it, and I don't want like publicity for this camp just because they are good at CP. If they are good at CP, then good enough. You don't need CP camp, right? For people who aren't good, who have been stuck on certain rating for about months, like me, like I have been stuck really badly. I'm not able to maintain consistency. So for people who, or who are extreme beginners who want to explore, those profiles would be prioritized rather than people who are actually very well settled into CP. I won't be prioritizing them. So that's the criteria. I hope that's clear, right? So next comment is okay, exciting. Yeah, thank you so much. Then what? Okay. What are the prerequisites for a beginner trying CP? So I'll simply say that if you have to talk about prerequisites, you need to know a language first of all. Like, you need to know a programming language. It could be anyone actually, but like, suppose you have never programmed ever in your life earlier, right? And you want to start with programming, then I would advise that please go with C++ because it helps in a longer run with competitive programming. But in case you already use Python or Java, then I'll say that start with it, and with time you'll learn different tricks and things how to use them with competitive programming. I myself started competitive programming with Java, then I have even started using Python, and now I even use C++. So it's like you keep learning in the journey. But if you want to start, you may just learn any language. If you are completely new, start with C++, it's advisable. But if you already know a language, continue with it. It has no issues with it. And other prerequisites, I would say that, as I said, that just know the basics of a language. Basics of a language don't mean that you have to know trees or graphs or DP or anything. You just need to know like basic syntax, what the data types are, or what arrays are, what strings are. So that's the like ultimate basic you need to know about before entering into competitive programming. Else, just keep practicing problems and keep upsolving them. Upsolving matters more than solving. What is upsolving is exactly that once you start solving a problem and you're not able to solve it, don't just give up on it. Read the editorials or take help from people, but solve it. Then only you will learn a new concept from it. Otherwise, there's no use. Like you have the same level before the problem and after the problem, right? Unless and until you solve it. So put in every effort to solve that problem. So that is what upsolving is. So I hope that is clear. That's just the prerequisite. Just know a basic programming language and start solving problems. Then next doubt is, if one is a complete beginner who has never attended any contest, they will also have the chance to get accepted. Yes, as I said, that beginners will be prioritized than the regular users. So don't worry about the selection process. Everyone will be prioritized if you are able to clear that selection process, right? So there are 100 seats, and in case you are able to clear the selection procedure, you will be selected. So don't worry about it. And now let's see the next out. Ma'am, can you brief about the selection process once? Shivang, I'll say that it's actually nothing as CP camp is. You have to maintain a streak, right? Here, the only difference is that instead of 10 days, this level would last for 5 days, and the number of problems solved would remain to be 4. The difficulty of the problem, I'll post it on the Telegram community. You don't need to worry about it or calculate it or anything. I'll post it on Telegram community. I'll just say that it will start on 8, end on 12, and it will last for 5 days, and you have to solve 4 problems a day. That's it. You just need to remember that, right? So next doubt is, okay, selection process I have explained, right? Then on what basis will you select us? As I said that I'll be prioritizing the profiles who I think need CP camp, like who need consistency, who have been really inconsistent, or uh, who are really struggling with CP or want to explore CP. So that would be my criteria for selecting profiles. Plus, I don't want to select profiles who are entering CP camp just uh, for like placement purpose or something, because honestly speaking, like it's a loss for them. Giving 40 days into CP, thinking that you'll be able to crack a coding interview uh, is isn't the right path, I would say. Like if you are actually looking forward to crack your coding interviews, I'll say lead code is the best platform. Like we should accept it that lead code is meant for coding interviews. So lead code or interview bit, right? So go for it, and there's nothing wrong in going for it and solving problems over there. If you're thinking that everyone who's good at CP is getting selected into big companies, no, it isn't. It isn't. Like coding interviews are very different from competitive programming. There are very few companies who actually have a coding interview based on competitive programming. So you need to understand this difference, that competitive programming is like kind of a domain under engineering, you may say. Like there you learn web development, right? You learn augmented or virtual reality, you learn different technologies. Similarly, competitive programming is one similar field under engineering. If you don't know web development, it doesn't mean you won't get shortlisted for the company. Similarly, if you don't know competitive programming, it isn't that you won't get shortlisted for the companies. If you have good problem solving skills and you're good at solving problems on lead code or interview bit, you will get selected. So don't just enter into competitive programming thinking that I have to crack coding interviews or anything. Don't think like that. If you are really interested into competitive programming, you have that kind of like adrenaline rush while solving contests. You enjoy that competitive spirit, then come into competitive programming. Otherwise, you'll just end up into depression, I would say. Like I have seen many people who like don't enjoy CP and are into it just because other friends are there. So don't be one of them. Have that clarity of mind what you want and how it can be achieved. Talk to people. Don't hesitate in talking to people. Who approach people on LinkedIn or ask your doubts wherever you can. Like no one is going to say anything wrong, and even if they do, right? What's wrong in it? Ignore it, right? Just take what's required for you. So take it and come back. That's it. So use the platforms for your own benefits. Yeah. So that's my advice on it. So the practice problems handpicked by the mentors? No, they aren't handpicked by the mentors. You may select any problems on the basis of the difficulty rating as per your level. You may use A2OJ ladders. I'll share its link on the community channel. It is like a website which actually sorts the problems on the basis of the difficulty ratings, and you may use those ladders. They're really good, like they're well curated list of problems under each difficulty rating. You may solve them. Like for the very first CP camp, we actually used those A2OJ ladders for our entire camp. So it was really amazing. Students enjoyed solving problems over there. So you may use A2OJ ladders, but there isn't any list provided by mentors. You may ask for few resources or you may ask your doubts. But you shouldn't be asking them that what problem should I be solving. Go solve your problems. If you're facing any doubts, ask them. If you're facing any difficulty with the resources that I'm not able to grab a concept, please suggest me a resource. They would suggest a resource. Don't ask them for what problems I should be solving, right? So, in fact, there isn't a specific problem set for competitive programming. So, I won't advise you for that. Just go solve problems using A2OJ ladders or even like simple code forces problem set and participate in live contests as much as you can, not just to maintain your streak but even like even if it's a Sunday. Yeah, I forgot to mention this, that all the Sundays would be off. We don't have the CP camp or any activity on Sundays. So we can arrange for a like casual meetup on every Sunday, but there won't be any streak or anything on Sundays. It is done with the reason that students find it extremely difficult to maintain their college life along with the CP camp. So that Sunday is given to them in order that they are able to complete their assignments. So all Sundays would be free, right? So that is how it goes. So I hope I'm clear with it. Then Shivang is asking for the Telegram community. Shivang, I guess I have posted it on our LinkedIn as well as I'll share it again on LinkedIn. If anyone needs it, I'll share it again on LinkedIn. So I'll share it. If you have any other doubts, please feel free to ask them. Are there any doubts like related to competitive programming, CP camp, or anything? I heard CP was illegal. I don't know where have you heard this. It's competitive programming and it isn't doing anything wrong to anyone. So I don't think it is illegal or it can be illegal unless and until something really hurts the other person. That could be illegal, but competitive programming isn't hurting anyone, right? So how could it be illegal? I don't know where have you heard it from, but yeah. Anything else? Any other doubt? If there's any other doubt, please feel free to ask it. I'll answer it over here. Um, any doubt you have, like anything related to competitive programming or how the community goes, or any other rules maybe you think I have missed, or anything like I could have missed certain rules, right? So you may ask anything, maybe you will get to know more about CP camp or anything. So yeah, please go ahead. Okay, I don't think anyone has any other doubts. So let's end with the live stream. I hope you had a great session, and you all your doubts have been cleared. And yeah, I hope you all enjoy the upcoming CP Winter Camp. So okay, one question is there: how many students will you select? So there 100 students. Like there's uh, like the seats are limited and only 100 students would be selected, so that is how it will go like. So only 100, and suppose like if I think that there are like 5 or 10 students who are actually like very deserving, I can increase that if the system supports, because the system has a certain limit, right? So I can go only till that limit of the system. If it allows, I'll go like 105 or 10. That's maximum, nothing more than that. So next doubt is, what is the minimum rating required to start with this scam? There's no minimum rating, as I said, Kajal. Like even if you have ratings less than 800, less than 800 even means zero. You haven't participated in any contest, right? So even if it is zero, you by default the system would allow would rate you as 800. So there isn't any minimum rating for the camp. So don't worry about it. Last doubt, I guess, it's benefits like money prizes is appreciated. Try to get some sponsors, please. If you get some sponsors, contact me. I'm happy if someone sponsors the community. I don't have any issues with it, but uh, I'll be more than happy. Like I want you people to get swags or anything, like something more than this, right? So if you have anyone who you think can sponsor our community, please get them to us. I don't mind that, right? So plus, like I'm not much into like I would say social media and things. So that is something I should be working on. I'll work on it, right? Next out is, why are you not considering code chef? Neetu, yeah. So this is a really good question, which I was expecting to have come like in the beginning itself when I said that code forces and ad coder would be counted, but it didn't come up. Thank you for asking this, right? So why code chef is in there? Because I have seen people like what they have is that they find code chef really easy, or maybe code force is extremely difficult. Like I haven't seen many people using code forces just because they are so intimidated by that, by code forces site itself, and I don't want the people from city camp to get scared of it, and I want them to be open to solve any, open to be solving to any problem, right? So what I can say is that once you start solving problem on code forces regularly, you won't ever hesitate solving problems on code chef as well. But if I allow code chef over here, I'm pretty sure that most of the students would just continue with code chef and won't give submissions on code forces, right? And I don't want that thing to happen. I want people to be comfortable with every platform, and that would be possible if and only if I just allow code forces and not code chef, right? So that is why code chef is in there. Plus there's one more reason I can say, like I could have allowed contests, right? There's one more reason I haven't taken code chef into account, that code chef doesn't allow an API, right? So I cannot track your progress on code chef. I can use other platforms for tracking your code chef performances, but it itself doesn't allow any API system to track performances, so I cannot even allow you for contests. So that is kind of a system restriction, as well as my personal planning as well behind this. Any other doubts? If there's any other doubt, please feel free to ask it. Like this courtship question was something that had to be asked even earlier, but it wasn't asked. So you may ask any doubt if you want to. I guess all your doubts are covered, and so thank you everyone for attending the live stream, and I hope you all enjoy the upcoming CP Winter Camp. So bye bye. Have a good day.